Alright, so for today's video, we're finally going to be taking the first look at Age of Overlord. I am super excited for this set. In my opinion, this is the best set of the year. It is introducing some really powerful monsters, new archetypes, and also support for old strategies. So yeah, I am excited and hope you are as well. Please share your thoughts about which cards you think are the best of this set, maybe of this year actually. Some of the cards we're going to be discussing are really busted. So yeah, if you like the video, make sure to like it as well, and let's go ahead and get started. I figured I would just pull all of the cards up on Dueling Book. It's the easiest, so we can also read all of the effects, and I'll also have some OCG deck lists sprinkled over the video, like throughout the video for you, that actually utilize all of these cards, and I think that's really cool. So starting off with the Sinful Spoils, we have this package that is able to get you to a level 1 fire monster, which is really good. This is really busted, and it's going to be able to make some strategies even better, but let's talk about what the strategy actually does. So essentially you have the monster, which is the only one of its archetype, since you can search a Diabellestar monster from your deck or grave to your hand with the Sinful Spoils Hunter Fiend. So I assume there's going to be more monsters released, but we will see. So this card is going to be able to get you the Diabellestar, and usually this is played only at 1. It is also recurring itself with the help of other cards to your deck, so you always have resources, which is also really strong. So yeah, let us read through the card that actually searches the Diabellestar. So during your main phase, you can banish the card from the graveyard, and you target one of your Sinful Spoils spells or traps that is banished or in the grave. You place it on the bottom of the deck and you draw 1 card. And this effect is actually really good because it's going to be able to play with another effect, and you're always gonna get an extra card, and that's just really good. You know, it's able to search you the fire monster like we're going to be discussing, but also it's going to be able to give you a draw and resources. So this is the Diabellestar you search, obviously with the first part of the effect of this card. And you can special summon the Diabellestar the Dark Witch from your hand by sending 1 other card from your hand or field to the graveyard. So immediately we're gonna think which cards can also be sent with this. And what OCG started doing is they also play the Water Enchantress and the Adventure package, so they can send the Water Enchantress together with the Diabellestar, and you also don't like lose a card because obviously you have a resource in the graveyard with the Enchantress. And then you have the actual effect on the field. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can set 1 Sinful Spoil spell or trap directly from your deck. So you are able to access the 3rd card we're going to be discussing. And the last effect is, let us read through it. If this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard during your opponent's turn, you can send 1 card from your hand or field to the grave, and if you do, special summon this card. So this entire archetype is like revolving around sending cards from the hand or grave to the field to the grave, excuse me, so you can like get the cards back. So what is the card that you're actually setting with the Diabellestar? It's the original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye, and what this does is send 1 other face-up card you control to the graveyard, which can be the Diabellestar that's on the field, so you don't need to quote-unquote waste any other cards. Special summon 1 level 1 fire monster from your hand or deck. So it also summons from the hand. I was not aware of that part, which is cool. And you can banish this card from your grave, then target 1 Snake Eye or Diabellestar monster in your graveyard, add 1 level 1 fire monster from your deck to your hand, and place the targeted monster on the bottom of the deck. So you essentially get the witch back, and you're able to do the entire effect. So you are special summoning a level 1 fire, and you're also searching a level 1 fire, but you can only use 1 of the effects per turn and only once that turn. So it's better to wait on the following turn to actually be able to use it, and then you use the effect of the Sinful Spoils Hunter Fiend to actually like get a draw as well. So this is like, I love how they function together. Since it's an engine that doesn't seem dead in your deck, it's actually like actively doing something, and I think that's great. And also another card that you're able to get to with the engine is the Rescue Ace Hydrant, being a level 1 fire monster. So that's where the engine can actually be utilized, and there are other ways of using it as well. So moving on to some other stuff, we have the Labyrinth support, which is able to be used like in the OCG, they usually played it with the Unchained Labyrinth strategy, because you're able to just bridge very easily to the Unchained part of things. So essentially during the main phase, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard, and from your hand either special summon a Labyrinth monster or set 1 normal trap card. And that set card can be activated this turn. So it's getting you to a card, and also when your opponent activates a card or effect in response to the activation of your Labyrinth card or effect, except this card, or your normal trap card or effect while this card is in the graveyard. This is very long, but quick effect, you can special summon this card. So it's able to essentially, like, they're always gonna try to like chain block you, so you can't use Lady. So then you actually get something off of that by being able to special summon this. And that's where in the OCG they started to bridge to the Unchained part of things, this card being a fiend monster. So that's the Labyrinth support. And we also have the Horus archetype. So this is also new. It is 4 monsters that work together with the Pharaonic Sarcophagus, and you also have a trap card. So essentially all of them can be special summoned from the graveyard if you control a Pharaonic Sarcophagus. So they are just 3 special summons because the sarcophagus is actually also able to get you to them. And the card itself is searchable by the Imseti. So all of them can be special summoned only once per turn this way. So some of them have additional effects, but all of them also have another effect that's the same across every single card. If another card you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect while you control this card, you can do something. Then each of them does something different. So every single time this condition is going to be fulfilled, the Imseti will send a card on the field to the graveyard. The Blessing of Horus is going to draw cards equal to the number of monsters with different names in your main monster zone. Then we have the third card, which is Happy. And what Happy does is you can target 2 cards that are banished and or in either grave, either add both to the hand or shuffle both into the deck. So you're also able to get rid of your opponent's resources. And as for the last one, you can activate this effect. This turn, your opponent's monsters cannot target Horus monsters for attacks. Also, your opponent cannot target Horus monsters with card effects, Horus monsters on the field. And also for the Imseti, this one also has an additional effect. You can send 2 cards from your hand to the grave, including this card, add 1 Pharaonic Sarcophagus from your deck to your hand. And you also get to draw a card, which is really good. Again, more resources for you. And also as for this one also has another effect. It gains 1200 attack and defense for each Horus monster you control. And this one is actually able to get fairly decent stats. And as for the sarcophagus, Horus monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effect unless they target them. And you can send 1 card from your hand to the grave, send 1 Horus monster from your deck to the grave. So you also get to send a Horus to the grave as well to be able to actually revive it, which is cool. And you can only use this effect up to 4 times per turn. So that part is really good. And also once per turn, at the start of the damage step, if your Horus monster battles an opponent's monster, you can send that opponent's monster to the graveyard. So this card is just really busted, but it can be destroyed and dealt with via backrow removal. So it's cool, not incredible, although the engine is going to be seeing play probably with Tearlaments. Also, I don't know why I didn't put like a picture or something. Let's put Murdy in here. So it's going to be able to be used together with Tearlaments, and Tearlaments can access the zombie vampire if they actually play Horus. So yeah, there were versions in the OCG with this particular engine. And then the Protector is once per chain, when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can special summon 1 Horus monster from your hand or grave, but for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon monsters with the same original name by this effect. If this card is sent from the hand or field to the grave, you can set this card but banish it when it leaves the field. So you're actually able to send it, like with the sarcophagus, for example, since you have to send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, so then you can just send this in case you draw it and you can actually set it. So that's good as well. And then moving on to Vanquish Soul support. So from what I've seen, I'm not sure if people actually play the trap card, but there are builds with the Vanquish Soul Jiaolong, the new monster, which if you reveal a card in the hand to activate a Vanquish Soul card's effect, you can special summon this card from the hand, and as a quick effect, you're able to like show an attribute and do an effect. So for fire, you change the battle position of 1 monster on the field, and for 2 fire monsters, you get to add a Vanquish Soul card from the deck to the hand. And as for another archetype support, we have the Visa Samsara, which is Visa Starfrost on the field or in the graveyard, obviously it has to be, and you get to target any number of your Visa's monsters that are banished or on your field and or in your graveyard, and shuffle those Visa's monsters into the deck. If you do, special summon this card from your hand, and if you do that, it gains 400 attack for each monster with different name shuffled by this effect. And if this card you control will be used as synchro material, you can treat it as a non-tuner. So that's like, it makes the card very flexible, and also it's another Visa's monster that can actually be normal summoned. not just, you know, being the regular visas. So yeah, the builds are playing 3 of this card, and also the archetype is receiving another piece of support. So we also have, okay, so I have this here, so we can talk about the Mannadium Trilo Sugda, which is just Kitkalus basically. And it's requiring a one tuner and 1+ non-tuner monsters. And if this card is synchro summoned, you can target the level 2 tuner, special summon it, but its effects are negated. And you can target any number of tuners you control. Their levels become 2. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except synchro monsters. So basically, this is a tuner as well, and it's a 6. So you're actually able to special summon back a tuner, use this and the tuner to go into Visas Amritara, because this one is actually not limited to having to use a tuner and a non-tuner, which is quite rare actually, as far as I know. But you get to use 2 tuners if you want. One of them has to be a light, and where is it? This is a light. You basically get to make this for free, so this card is seeing play as well. And moving on to something else, we also have the SP Little Knight, which is probably like the best monster. Probably is. It's just basically a new IP. It is requiring 2 effect monsters, which immediately makes it better than Azalea, which has to have lights or darks. So in the OCG, they immediately switched from Azalea to this, because this card's effect is just actually better in almost every way possible. So if this card is link summoned using a Fusion Synchro XYZ and or Link monster as material, you can target one card on the field or in the graveyard, you banish it. Also, your monsters cannot attack directly for the rest of this turn. And when your opponent activates a card or effect, as a quick effect, you can target 2 face-up monsters on the field, including at least 1 monster you control, banish both monsters until the end phase. So essentially, immediately this card is link summoned, you're just able to banish a card on the field or in the graveyard. And okay, you can't attack directly, but you can make this with IP if you want, which is cool. You obviously fulfill the first part of the effect, so it's like a nightmare unicorn, but you don't need to discard, which also makes it better. And it also has the other effect, which, if you think about it, like, you can target 2 face-up monsters on the field, including at least 1 monster you control, banish both. So it is removal of the opponent's cards, but this card can also be used to play around evenly, for example, because you get to banish 2 of your monsters, and you get to like play around evenly, and I think that's really cool. You clear up the field and you get resources back. So yeah, everything about this card is just really busted, and I'm very eager to see, how this card is going to like find its way into many extra decks probably. And then we also have a new Zeus monster. It's a rank 12, and I want to emphasize that it is a fiend because it can be played in Labyrinth if you want to play it in Labyrinth. So 2 level 12 monsters. If your opponent special summon 2 or more monsters from the extra deck this turn or the previous turn, you can also exceed summon this card by using the 1 monster you control with the highest attack. Your choice if tied. So you are able, because of course your opponent is going to special summon from the extra deck, just 2 or more monsters from the extra deck this turn or the previous turn. So yes, it is going to happen, maybe during your turn as well. You get to just special summon this card for free, and you get to transfer its material. So if it is an XYZ monsters, you're immediately able to stack multiple materials under this card. If summoned this way, you cannot normal or special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, but it doesn't say anything about before this gets special summoned. So you can just, put it on the field at the end of your entire combo, which is just kind of stupid. While you control the XYZ summon card, neither player can activate the effects of monsters with 3000 or more attack. So yeah, the big monsters, including Zeus actually, cannot hurt your monsters. Once per turn, you can attach 1 material from this card, return 1 monster on the field to the hand. So it is also non-destruction removal. And I like the effect. I know a lot of times people say Zeus is like too busted. I've heard this said. And yes, it's very busted, but I kind of also think it's fair. And this is a whole type of discussion on its own, but I don't know. I just think it can be dealt with, and I'm not against it. So yeah, I'm interested to see what we're gonna do with this monster and how it's gonna see play. And as for the last card, I wanted to talk about Exceed the Pendulum as well. I had to. I love Pendulum, and this is like the new Beyond the Pendulum, basically. 2+ effect monsters, including a Pendulum monster. So that's very easy to accomplish. It has to use effect monsters. Like, you can so easily just make a mistake and use normal monsters in Pendulum where you actually play normal monsters. Gains 100 attack for each Pendulum monster card you control, and it's already at 2000, but it is a link 3. If this card is link summon, you can add one face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand, which is really good. And during the main phase, quick effect, you can special summon from your hand or graveyard in defense position one Pendulum monster with a level between the Pendulum scales of the 2 cards in your Pendulum zones. So essentially, an additional Pendulum summon for one monster, which is also really good because like you fill up your entire field with the Pendulum summon, and once you get rid of everything, you might want to have an additional extender. So this one grants you the extender. It literally gets it to your hand, and then you get to special summon it as well. It's more than 2000 attack, and I don't know, it's really busted for Pendulum. It's a bummer that Pendulum itself is kind of weird to play right now, but this is kind of amazing piece of support actually. So yes, that's actually going to be it. I will be making more Age of Overlord content, but as for right now, I just wanted to talk about all of the cool stuff that's dropping in the set and why this is like the best set of the year. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know which engines you're most excited about, or cards, or whatever. Did I say that at the beginning of the video as well? I think I did, but like, please let me know. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.